I'd like to bring this meeting to order. Welcome to Sedro Woolley Rotary Club, the greatest club in the Travis.
Yes.
You're up. Invocation, please.
All right. So we're going to do something different here since it's Independence Day. But I'm not very prepared, so give me a second here. I'm going to read the preamble to the Declaration of Independence. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed, that whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it, and to institute new government, laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. Prudence indeed will dictate that government long established shall not be changed for light and transient causes. And accordingly, all experience hath shown that mankind are more disposed to suffer while evils are sufferable than to right themselves by abolishing the forms to which they are accustomed. But when a long train of abuses and usurpations pursuing invariably the same object evinces a design to reduce them under absolute despotism, it is their right, it is their duty to throw off such government and to provide new guards for their future security.
Thank you. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The four-way test. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? And Travis, you're up again for our song.
Yeah, why don't we try singing the Star Spangled Banner? All the way through. What's that? Oh, say.
Very nice. Do we have any guests today? She's part of our program, but you can introduce her anyways.
I've got Marty Pease from Lacana Rotary is our program about our Honduras work with the IPA today. Welcome, Marty.
Welcome, Marty. Any other guests? How about visiting Rotarians? Any other visiting Rotarians? Okay. Thank you, Bill. Club business. Becky, just caught you just as you took that bite.
So our big event is tomorrow night, 6 o'clock, right here. We're gonna have drinks out on the patio and dinner will start about 7. So we're gonna have a social time of about an hour. And We have a full house, so it's going to be a wonderful celebration. And I need a little help. I need some help tomorrow getting ice chests out of the storage locker. There's one in here I need filled with ice over at Country Meadows. And I could use one more person tomorrow afternoon around 12 or 1 o'clock to help set up tablecloths and glasses and stuff like that. Joellen and I will be here. So if you have a minute, come on by.
Okay, any volunteers? Okay. All right, the Honorable Brock Stiles.
Whoa, okay. Anyway, how's everybody doing? Nice to see y'all. So we are going to finalize the organization for the foot race today. And as I always want to do is to recognize Kyle Rutherford, who is here somewhere, who does all of the hard work on the race. And I get to do the easy stuff, just organizing people that have done this for years and really appreciate that. But I'm going to just spend a little bit of time on going over everything. First thing I want to know is I did send out an email, I think on either Monday or Tuesday. Did everybody actually get that? Everybody, I noticed there was like 2 members that don't have an email address. So if anybody didn't get that and is participating in the foot race, I'll make sure I give you a call and remind you if you need that. But so here it is. So we're going to do this year something new. We're going to have a check-in and registration for anybody that wants to come early instead of doing it the morning of the race. So this is going to be open on July 3rd, which is Sunday from 4 to 6 o'clock in front of the gym. And so we don't need the gym opened up or anything like that, right, Kyle? Just going to have a tent and a table there. So Steve Huggins, Phil Brockman, and Daryl Heisler have all volunteered to be there for that 2-hour stretch. And hopefully that'll eliminate some of the backlog. Sometimes it happens on the day of race when people show up at 9:15 and want to be registered for a race that starts in 15 minutes. So on July 4th at 6:45 a.m., Mike Schweigert's going to show up and open up the gym. Right, Mike? Look there. That's great. And Kyle Rutherford will be there with tables to help set up. And so around 7 o'clock, it would be nice for those that are going to be helping with registration to be there to also help kind of set things up, because I think runners start showing up about 7:15 sometimes. So anyway, so at registration, we have Steve Huggins, Carl Garrison, Bill McCann, Chris Johnston, Eric R. Johnson, Kyle Rutherford, Daryl Heisler, Julia Johnson, Mike Schweigert, Sheena Burns, and Julia Garrison so far. Mark Nielsen, okay, we will check him off. The other 2 that did it last year, I believe, was Keith Wagner and Samantha Stormont. Are either of them here? I don't see that, but Kyle, is that going to be enough for registration, you think? Okay, so that's the other thing. If you're at registration, Kyle's going to know how much help he's going to need at the start-finish line for maybe handing out ribbons and maybe just directing people around. That's going to be great. I did get confirmation yesterday from Chief Wagner for the fire department. There will be an aid car at the start-finish line as always, which is really helpful, and also maybe a spot down partway through the race as well. So that's much appreciated. So the other thing, as far as if you're in registration, Charlie Bush is handling all the water distribution at the start-finish line and cutting up a box of oranges and everything. So after the race, if you wanted to help him hand out water and oranges and things, there'll be a tent by the start-finish line that you can go down and help him out. So I don't think Charlie, I didn't see Charlie here today, but he is taking a load off of some of the work and getting the water out there for everybody. So John Janicki at 7:30 is going to be showing up for the scaffolding. So again, if you're kind of hanging around and want something to do, you can come and help him do that. He normally brings a lot of people to help set that up. Charlie Bush is going to be doing the race signage and the cones and everything, getting the race course set up. He's also in charge of all of the water and everything. And again, he may need some help in handing out things at the end of the race. Sue Stradoff arranged to have 500 bottles of water already delivered over to Limley Chapel, and it's there ready to be handed out. And I do want to recognize Becky Eldey. She, for the last number of years, has gotten some kind of door prizes to hand out randomly to people that are racing, and she's going to be there handing out prizes. Right, Becky? Okay, perfect. Let's see. Mike Mosier is going to be our announcer, MC again today, and I believe Mr. Johnson here is going to provide a sound system. So. Okay, so again, and this will be about 8 o'clock. Get it right there at the start finish line. Everything starts right there. So the reason we're doing that this year is I kind of got taken for granted that Hugo Helmer always had rentals available every year, and would normally call them up about 5 days before and ask to do the same thing we did the year before. And they unfortunately don't have PA systems to be rented anymore. So Eric Johnson's come to the rescue. So Carl. You know, you may find out that you don't need everybody down there. I think registration is the maybe if they're really full down there, you'd probably need to stay there. We'll find some other folks to help out too, but you can always walk down and see. Okay, sounds great. Thanks for doing that. All right, traffic control here. So this is important. I'm shy a couple of spots, so we may need to get some volunteers here, but here's what everybody is doing. So Daryl Skiles is on Metcalf and Warner, Travis Heisman on State and Metcalf, John Janicki on Metcalf and Ferry, Mike Janicki on Ferry and Murdoch. So Ferry and Puget is where Rich Wyrick was scheduled to do it, but he indicated that he might be able to do that. So I'm going to need a person for that. Ferry and Puget's pretty important spot to fill. So, you know, Don, I think I had you on Ferry and Central before, so you're going to be on that. So appreciate that. Ferry and Reed is David Bricka. Ferry and Haynes was Tim Howland, but he is not going to be in town anymore. So I'm going to need somebody to fill Ferry and Haynes Street. So if we don't have somebody here, you know, you can always see if your family or wife or kids or somebody like that can step up. But so that's open for the time being anyway. Ferry and Ball is Pat Eason. Ferry and Township, Dan Sims. Township and State, Stephanie Bachmeyer and Mark Venn. State and 10th is Sandra Jensen. State and 11th is Charlie Jensen. They're also doing the water station there. State Minkler and Railroad is Rick Limley. Hohen and Fruitdale is Brian Stiles. River and Township is Eric Johnson, Eric A. Johnson, Ben Johnson, and Tim Lair. Also doing a water station down there, so thanks for that. Township and Jennings is Adrian Santangelo. So here's a couple of spots I haven't heard back from. So Township and Marshall was David Mickelson, and that's the superintendent's husband. Volunteered. Is Miriam here? She's not going to be here? Okay, if you could do that, it'd be great. Township and Alexander with Rod Hall. Okay, I don't think Rod's here. Township and Sterling is Don Ostrom. Don, you've done this for just about every race, haven't you? Okay, thanks for doing that. Township and Fidalgo, Steve and Rebecca Scrindy. Township and Jameson, Eric R. Johnson and Julia Johnson. Township and Bennett is Phil Brockman. Township and Nelson, Carrie Story. And Township and Warner is Tessa Ross. So we do need somebody for Township and Telcott. So for traffic control, we're really short about 3 people right now. So if you could think of somebody and just email me or just bring them along the day of race, we'll find a spot. Yeah. Okay, so here's what we want everybody to do by 9 o'clock. Show up down at Limley Chapel. We have safety vests for you to pick up. It's also you mark off and check in that you're here because we don't want any of these intersections open. A lot of the ones closer into town, there are officers on most of those intersections, but we don't want to leave any intersections without somebody there. And again, the rule is don't let any vehicles on the race course itself. It's okay for them to cross, but we don't want them to follow along or into the runners on the route itself. So, okay, the water stations, I already talked about a couple of them, but Tessa Ross is doing the 4-mile station, and Maggie Janicki is doing one of the 1-mile stations. The national anthem this year is, we have somebody new because Keith is on a trip to Europe, and we have Rachel Wangenhoek, who is a former pastor here in town and has some training in opera. So that's going to be, so listen for the national anthem at right at 9:30. And Dr. Joe B, as always, is going to show up with his black powdered rifle to blow that off. So you'll be able to hear that all through the town. And again, Kyle, anything you need to add? 200? Okay, which normally will probably equate to over 400 and some. Never know. And did you see the article in the Skagit Valley Herald? Front page. I mean, come on, that's pretty good advertisement right there. But Jim Hickman's running the race for 36 years, I think. So, and you saw that sign. I mean, I think they made that in 1959, I think. So, anyway, okay, thanks, John. Okay, any questions about anything? Anyway, it's going to be another good race. All of it goes to Rotary scholarships. So, and this is always the first event we do as Rotarians for our new incoming president. So we're going to make it a great one. Thanks.
All right, any other club business? Okay, a couple of things I have. You have your new booklets. It's as perfect as it's going to get, but if you have some issues with it, contact me and we can make some adjustments at that level. But I want to give a little shout out to our Ruth. Ruth is the one that did most of the work, plugging all the numbers in and changing names and stuff. But we have our club booklets. I'm happy about that. I have some news about Rich. Talked with him a little bit today. He's feeling pretty good. He's hoping to make it tomorrow, but we'll see, and we'll go from there. But he's in good spirits. And I think that's about all I have. If there's no other club business, we'll go to the raffle.
Number 18.
Okay, as we're waiting for Chris to come up there, I was just informed we will have Zoom for tomorrow night's meeting. So what time do we start? Okay, whenever he gets there, 6 o'clock.
69. 69. Your number comes up more often than it should. $20 to Oliver and Hammer. One more. Oh, that's a very big crowd. Number 35. Oh, our speaker. You can either grab some wine or you can spin the wheel and take your chances. That's a smart move. And 34.
Boy, we fixed it for Marty
No,
today.
She got 2 and she won 2. Beer.
Okay, very good.
Okay, it's my turn again to be your sergeant at arms. Remember, 3 weeks ago, I was doing this job and I offered everybody a chance to pay $5 and get immunity. So everybody please stand up. I want to find my targets here. Everybody who paid the $5 3 weeks ago, take a seat. Oh, that's pretty good. Pat, why do we do this in the first place? Why do we do this in the first place? Why are we raising money?
To donate it to appropriate causes for the foundation.
No, wrong. You want to start putting money on the table here? The auction gives us money to donate to causes. This gives us money so we can do things like tomorrow night's function. One of the ways we pay for the function is from the little bit of the dues that we get to keep. And we've kept the dues at $150 since I don't know when. It's been at least probably 15 years, a long time. All of that money pretty much goes elsewhere to the international or to the district or someplace else. And it might be a good idea to raise the dues. But in the meantime, Christine tells me we're having a hard time collecting dues. So if you have not paid your dues, you have two choices. You can either pay it before you leave the door today, or you can donate $10 for the stall, okay?
Venmo works.
Okay, now I have a little bit of trivia for the various tables. Travis, every table contribute $10 to the table, any way you want to. We're going to play a little double or nothing. And this is horse trivia. I was hoping Keith would be here because there's a horse, a TV horse whose name was actually Dunny Wagoner. But Dunny Wagoner had a stage name. That stage name was Buck. Who rode Buck in TV series? Buck. B-U-C-K. Let me give you a hint. It was actually Buck was a long-lived horse, and he was ridden twice by two different characters. Roy Rogers was Trigger. Buck was a buckskin horse. It'd be double or nothing. So I will need Steve, you can pick up. We'll need $20 from this table. Buck was ridden by Matt Dillon and Ben Cartwright in those two iconic TV shows, Bonanza and Gunsmoke. This is easy for those of us who grew up when I did. You're gonna go, we gotta go double or nothing. We can go double or nothing on top of that if we want. We have already gone double. Well, this is easy. Diablo and Loco. These are horses. There's only two of you, huh? That's one of them. Time's up. Who was the Cisco Kid's sidekick? Hey, Cisco, hey. Poncho. Poncho. It's easy, easy. One of the things that I like about raising money is not picking on one individual. Looks like this is an immune table, right? Is it or not? Okay. I'm going to give you an easy one. Champion. horse's name is Champion. Who rode Champion? You want to go double or nothing, or do you want to call it good? Gene Autry. What do I have for you? This is a two-part question. Who rode a horse named Dollar? He also rode a horse named Duke. This is obvious. Time's up. Who was known as the Duke? John Wayne. Too late. I'm running out of ideas here. Okay, this was my favorite one. Who rode a horse called Topper? The character. You can name the actor, either one. That would kind of tell us the answer. You're a horse person. Not too close. Hop along, Cassidy. I think we got one more. This performer rode this horse in 17 movies. The horse's name is Pi. These are easy questions. Jimmy Stewart. Okay. I'm Happy Bucks, if you got any left.
Yeah. Good man. I have a happy 10. When I sent out an email a couple days ago asking if there's anybody that signed up for tomorrow night that wasn't going to make it so that my son and his girlfriend could come, I had at least 10 Rotarians reach out and offer to give up their seats. So we truly have a great group here.
So you can pick this up. I guess I forgot to ask you a question. So horse named Tornado or Tornado? You say Zorro? You're correct.
So I've got a happy $20. First of all, I'm really happy about Log Rodeo and all the excitement out of Country Meadow Village. Mayor Johnson was out judging. We have 29 decorated doors for our decorated door contest. So thank you, Julia. She'll be there tomorrow. Really a fun time. Everyone's really excited. So, and also congratulations to the Rotary team that's leaving, and Phil on your upcoming presidency. Christine, is you coming up. So I remember 5 years ago when I give the gavel to Avery Martin, you know, my husband pinned my late father's pin on my lapel, his past president's pin that I wrote about, that ended up in the Rotary International magazine the following year, which is a pretty heady experience. So that really, for their June 2021 Pride issue. So who remembers the Dugas, John and Ginny Dugas? We love the Dugas. Well, Ginny Dugas attended the international convention down in Houston, and she hooked up with the LGBTQ community for Rotary, and she wore this pin down there, and she thought I would like it. So she sent this to me as a gift from the Rotary International Convention for me to wear as an ally, and I'm so grateful for that. So I have a $20 bill for that.
Super. Anybody else got any money left? I'm gonna go to the mayor first.
I have a happy 10 just because this is the first year in 2 years that we are legitimately free to do the Lago Rodeo Parade and all the festivities. Not that it stopped our community. We did exactly what we wanted to do for the last 2 years, but it's just exciting to know that we are finally back on track, and I am so excited.
I got a happy 5. I got a crack team of experts installing air conditioning at my house, and it's thanks to Mr. Don over here at Right Way, and I just want to thank him.
I'm a coming.
Well, I got a happy 5 here. I haven't been here in a while, and a little information on this log drive that we had talked about. Lions Club is trying to put it together. The state is having a problem trying to figure out on the gambling issue. They're not used to a log drive, and what are you really doing here? So this year it won't happen. I just found out this morning. But hopefully it's all ready for next year. There will be a display of the logs and get this thing back going.
Cool. Okay, Bill, thank you very much. Nice job. That brings us to the program. So Marty from our Lacana Club. Marty, you're the president, right? Last day for you. And Teek, can you introduce? Thank you, Teek.
It's my pleasure to have Marty Pease here from the IPA. Besides being president of Lacana Rotary, she's deeply involved in the IPA. And this March organized and led our first what we call a tourist trip to Copan. So if you're interested in going to Copan, this may be the way to go next year with Marty. And we always have to promo our Adopt a Dream student programs. We need more sponsors for our secondary students. So with that, I'll shut up and turn it over to Marty.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Teek, for inviting me to speak to you about the IPA, which you've heard many times about from Teek. My angle might be a little different. Thank you very much for feeding my addiction to alcohol between the wine and the beer that I got from you guys. That's awesome. All righty. So, we ready? We can go ahead to the next slide if you'd like. Hang on. That's okay. So what I wanted to do this time, so I've been giving updates every year. I'm the director of marketing for the IPA, have been involved for 6 years. And I like to visit clubs and share what we're doing. And this year, I really want to tell the story mostly through pictures. So the PowerPoint is short. So those of you who aren't familiar with the IPA, is everybody familiar with what the IPA is in the room? Give us your reminder. Okay. So the international, it stands for the International Project Alliance, which was started in 2014 by Peter Martin and 4 or 5 other clubs in Skagit Valley. And we're focusing on doing humanitarian projects in the poor Mayan villages surrounding Copan, Ruanas, and Honduras. And we have 3 major adoptas. We call them the adoptas, 3 major adopta programs. So Adopt a School is for the kindergarten and elementary schools, and the sponsors support the entire school. The Adopt a Dream is for middle school, high school, and university students, and we're really thrilled. We have 31 university students supported, which is just awesome that these kids are getting higher education and come back to their villages. And next slide, please. Thank you. And then the Adopt a Village, which we started about a year and a half ago. It's been a very successful program where it is combining Adopt a School and Adopt a Dream. And then also the Adopt a Village sponsors support any construction projects or any projects that the village itself wants to do. And your club has just joined that group with the club that the school that you were sponsoring. You now have adopted the village, Carasolita too, which is awesome. And then the 4th major program is Rapid Development, which is our economic program, which I'll say quite a bit more about. But first of all, I wanted to take a moment to thank you. We are really appreciative of your club's actually really heavy involvement in the IPA. There are 10 of your members who do support middle school and high school kids, supporting 18 of those, for which we thank you very much. Adopting Carasolita 2 as a village is a huge asset for the school, the middle school kids, and the village itself. And then your club has been extremely generous with anything that comes along with the health project. For example, you've done 2 global grants, Echo Stove Project, and also equipment for maternity clinic. The medical clinic in Copan needed air conditioning, and your club paid for that. Your club supports the Student Health Fund in many ways. So anything that's health related, you guys raise your hand and say, hey, we'll take care of it. So we're very appreciative for everything you do with the IPA. So statistically, at this point, we have 11 member clubs from Whatcom, Islands, Snohomish, and Skagit County, plus the club in Copan. At district conferences last year, we got a few really good leads. So we may be able to up that number to, my goal would be 13 or 14, which would be very cool. At this point in the Adopt a School, we're supporting 63 to 65 schools. That includes kindergarten and elementary schools. And we are supporting 500 students in Adopt a Dream program, and you can see the breakdown grade-wise. We do have a major problem here. We're 174 sponsors short. This is one area where we still struggle on how do we keep up. We are doing some problem solving in that we have a general pool that people can donate. They like the idea, but don't necessarily want to sponsor a particular student. So we use those monies to sponsor the kids that don't have sponsors. We also, with the Adopt a Village program, each Adopt a Village sponsor is committing to a minimum of 5 middle school students. So we are hoping to fill that gap. On your table is some information about Adopt a Dream. If you don't already support a student, it would be really wonderful if you did. Thank you. And we are up to 17 villages in Adopt a Village program, which is about half of the villages that we work with, which is very cool. In our rapid development program, we started 4 years ago with 3 villages, and they are on the phasing out phase of things. This program was based out of an organization in Switzerland, and they usually stop at 3 years. And we're learning as we go, honestly. And we're trying to figure out how do we phase out, still support the villages, and encourage them to do things on their own. And we are finding to some degree, Cynthia Santos is our contractor in country who runs this program. And she is going less and less frequently to the villages, but the less she goes, the more the villagers tend to stay engaged. So we're trying to figure out a balance there. We have found that the businesses that do the most, are most successful, are ones where they are selling to products within the villages themselves or the surrounding villages. The businesses that tend to struggle are the ones that require getting produce or product into Copan to sell it. So we're trying to problem solve that. The 2 aspects of the rapid development program that have been really successful is the home gardens and the village savings and loan associations. The home gardens, the people have been really interested. We're teaching them how to manage the soil, how to grow a variety of crops. We provide them with different fruit trees, and then they can exchange fruits among themselves. And then some of the women have made it into small businesses. They have taken their vegetables and sell them to their neighbor or to the next village. And one lady just made her whole home garden a cabbage patch and made that into a micro business. So the home gardens have been really, really successful. So have the village savings and loans. The villagers have given feedback that they really appreciate being well trained on how to run them, and therefore they're being successful. And the villagers are learning to save, and then they can borrow money to do something that they need to do. So far, nobody has reneged on a loan. So it's been really, those are 2 really successful aspects of the rapid development. So we added 2 villages about 3 years ago, and they're on the fading out side. And then a year and a half ago or so, we added 6. They got delayed in getting started because of COVID, and we used a global grant to get those 6 villages involved. Okay, so let me try to do this off the top of my head. So the things that are new this year, Peter Martin, who was named or was given the Service Above Self Award by RI, they give no more than 150 a year throughout the world. I'm thrilled for multiple reasons, one of which Peter deserves this recognition. But secondly, to have the IPA recognized in some fashion by the Rotary International. I think that is way cool because I personally very much believe this is a fairly unique program within Rotary. The amount of time that it has been sustained, the scope of projects that we do, and the number of clubs involved. So I was really glad to see RI kind of seeing that maybe the IPA exists. We did start an endowment fund. We did get a global grant to add those 6 villages to the rapid development program. And then our trips are expanding. They started with 4 trips a year. The first trip would be in February to give out all the school supplies, and TEAC often goes at that time frame, uniforms, books, etc. And then again in November, we go as a group and pick up all the mobile library books, get final statistics from the teacher, and basically close down the school year. And Peter goes in May and August, visits every school, and moves the mobile library each time he goes. 1 box, which is per school, it would take 10 years to get through the entire circuit of schools. So the kids get to see a different book every 3 to 4 months, which is just very cool. Walter Gutterbruck out of Fidalgo is heading up construction. So he goes down in the spring, visits with our contractor in country, and visits all the construction projects and comes up with new ones. And then we've added this additional trip called the Adopt a Village trip. My first idea was to entice people to go. Maybe we need to make it more of a vacation, or you bring your spouse, or maybe you have somebody who's a friend who you just want to have a vacation and not necessarily a work trip. And then it turned into an Adopt a Village trip, where we spent the entire day in the village, and the villages were chosen based on who was on the trip. It was very successful. We didn't have a rush schedule. We got to spend time with the elementary school kids, visit the middle school kids, chat with the village leaders, get a tour of town. So we are adding that once a year. The next one will be summer, fall of 2023. So what I'd like to do, and then the other really cool thing on the March trip, we had 2 professional videographers along with us, and they have created 1 video, and they're going to create another one. They do a pro bono project once a year, and we were it. And those of you who were at district conference saw that video. It's very well done. So what I'd like to do is go into the slides. This is going to be a little bit of a tag team to get pictures going. It's that's going to be the video. Oh no, that's the video. It's the other one, the Honduras March. Yeah. This is the video, but it's a long one. It's about 6 minutes long. The top one. So we're going to have to figure this out. On my computer, I can manually control the pictures. On your computer, it will stop and go. And so he and I are going to tag team. Maybe. Zoom is both handy and difficult at the same time. Stand by. All right, and then anyway, we can go back a slide. Yeah, go to the first slide. Stand by. Well, in the meantime, we'll just go right. Okay, so so you think we got her running? Okay, there we go. So one of the advantages of this trip, so all of these pictures that I have are based on the March trip and the Adopt a Village trip. We actually got to spend time. Usually when you go on the school trips, you're just going to the school and you don't necessarily get an opportunity to explore the village. So we actually got to go into homes. This is a typical bedroom. And this mattress happens to be off the floor. All right, so next one. So this is a typical home, adobe walls. The step is a little elevated, so I'm going to guess this has a cement floor, tin roofs, wood walls where the animals were kept. It's not uncommon at all to see singed roofs and walls from the stoves. And the next one. You're doing an awesome job. This is a typical stove that's in the homes. This one at least is vented. They do use wood. Next. And this is a very typical scene. The hillsides and the houses are just tucked away. And we had the time on this trip to sit and chat with the villagers and spend 45 minutes to an hour in their homes. This is Rosemary. She is from Fidalgo Island and she's a bird watcher. And I just had that photo in there just to show we had an opportunity to share. So she had her binoculars out. Here was her opportunity to interact with two kids sharing her binoculars. Now this one, if we can pause there for a moment. Back, can we go back one? So this is in the village of El Naranjal, and Jose, who's in the middle there, is a gentleman we contract to teach the villagers agricultural techniques. And this is putting in a home garden. And this was their first home garden lesson. He was showing them how to mix appropriate elements of the soil. And then what happens, and then the villagers were helped turning over this garden. The next time he comes, they will learn how to plant seeds and they'll be at someone else's house and they'll do that in that garden. And then the next lesson is another person's house and they all help out in that garden. We were in that village for 6 hours. And by the time we left, there were 4 gardens that had been turned over. So, one more back. Okay, there's this a video, if we can get that to run. Okay, well, anyway, that was was hacking up the soil. That's okay. This is one we knew we would have this trouble because, oh yeah, the sound. You can't, obviously we don't have the sound on, but you could hear them chatting and speaking in Spanish. They're hammering away, and women pulled their weight and banging the dirt. And then this picture I just put in for fun. This was in Las Peñas 1, and the woman on the left is 66 years old, and she pounded at the dirt for 2 hours. And the woman in the right, in the blue, is Karen Ryan from La Conner. She's 76, and she just took a couple swings and was done. But it was just so cute to have the 2 old ladies swinging away at the dirt. That was just, so I just threw it in for humor's sake. Next. One business we found is working really well is the pigs and pork. This family is breeding the pigs and then sells it to the people that fatten the pigs. And they're thinking of expanding it. But this is one micro business we found has done really well. Can we back up? There you go. And this is a savings and loan. This is in El Naranjal, and they're just getting ready to start their meeting. These are the officers. The buckets are where they put their loan payments, their savings, etc. And then in this village, they're teaching their children to save. Where the kids are getting the money, I honestly don't know, but I think it's awesome that they're learning to save, and those are their passbooks. When was the last time you guys used a passbook? Just saying. We can run this video. So the agreement we have, this is in the village of La Laguna and replacing the floor in the middle school. And the village the agreement we have is we provide the material, they provide the labor. And there's a thumping going on and noise and going on, but this is how they put down a cement floor. Huh? Yeah. Yeah. Very portable. And this is in the village of Ingenios. We are doing a water project. There's 15 homes that are 2.5 kilometer walk on this trail that don't have water. And so we are going to be running a water pipe to those villages. We can do a direct route, so it's 1.5 kilometers long, but this is how they get to their homes. And then mud is an issue. There's one village called El Bien that we often can only get to once a year. And the drivers were determined on this trip to get us there. We can do the next one is not going to have the sound. So it is just difficult to, I wanted to run this video just to show you what it's like at times to get there or not get there, depending. And then this is what, yeah. And again, this is a little better with the sound, but she gets really stuck in the mud and her husband gives her grief and then comes and gives her a helping hand. Again, it was just my sick sense of humor. But this is what it took to get to this village. And the idea of the Adopt a Village is to get to know villagers. What better way to build teamwork than to get a truck out of the mud? So there you go. And then at least once a trip, you have to have a cow in the way. It just has to be. And we just need to wait till the calf is done eating, and then we can move on. And then this way, we're just going short distance within the village, but it is not uncommon to see trucks like this with 20, 30 people in them. That is one of their major truck busing systems, so to speak. This is an example of a mobile library and the bookcase that we provide. And then Casita Copan is, in Copan itself, it is an orphanage and a daycare for single moms. And again, it's usually a fly-by visit, but this time we got to spend 3 or 4 hours with them, which was awesome. And they are starting programs of teaching their older orphans business management skills and actual skills. So here they are teaching us how to cook baleadas, and those tortillas were our lousy ones. And this is just a set of cute faces, that's all. And next. And then when we normally go on school trips, the villagers often feed us as a token of gratitude. And we're in a room all by ourselves, and it's a little bit embarrassing, honestly. Here we are eating what they should be eating. But on this trip, I told the coordinator, hey, we're going to pay for lunch, and I want the whole community involved. So this is, we got to eat with the middle school kids, which was just a real privilege to be able to talk with them and interact with them. It was awesome. And then with the elementary schools programs, they always had some form of program, and dancing was usually involved. And again, it was just getting to know everybody and laughing. More dancing. And then the middle school kids in Las Peñas had a trivia question game for us, and this was their prize. This is just, corn dolls are not uncommon, but this one was particularly cute. Had been hand painted and had its own little knitted hat, and was just very adorable. And then we met with the village leaders in every village. This is in El Cisne, just to see how things are going, if there's any projects that they need, where things are at. And almost all of them, home improvements came up, and the home improvements are tough for us. First of all, they're really expensive, and second of all, how do you fairly choose which home you're going to improve? They all need it, you know. We did meet with the Rotary Club they met every Wednesday, so we met with them 2 or 3 times. Just a sign. Cute puppy. And kid. I guess we should notice the kid. Some of their horses are gorgeous. Eye-to-eye contact, if any of you know Rob Martin. It makes this picture even funnier, to me anyhow. And then in Ingenios, the middle school kids did a whole bunch of art. You can see some at the bottom, but I just really liked the thank you sign, of course. Pretty flowers. And then every village with the middle school kids would wear a traditional dress and do a dance. This particular village, this isn't El Naranjal, the kids really knew what they were doing. First of all, it's a beautiful dress. And most of the time, the boys are kind of floundering. They really knew how to dance. If we can get the next video, we can get that to run. Of course, it's better with music, but you can just see. You do get entertained a lot when you go. Okay, that's probably good. Thank you. I just love this grandpa and grandson. So just an opportunity to get to know people. Another interested, curious horse. And you can see the scenery. Dinner. Uh-oh. Oh, I went a little way too far. That is a cute kitty cat, though. I mean, the few pictures I showed with the dog, the animals were well treated. That's not always the case. There's very many stray dogs and stray animals. Just the ones I happened to show you were pets. Okay, your battery's running low. All right, hang on. Kind of hard to tell the story without the pictures behind it. Let me think of what else is in there. This is in those 15 homes that we'd gone up. These are some beautiful icons in Copan. Okay, there we go. Yeah, that's missing several slides. What was in between there were two beautiful young women. And so this gentleman, if we can hang out here. So, oop. So I don't know if you got the glimpse of that man. If you guys are familiar with the tarot deck and the Fool card, and the Fool card is actually very complimentary. It's a complimentary card. And that gentleman just reminds me of the Fool. And I'm always glad when I go to Ingenios to see him. He's always out, he's always not involved. He's on the outskirts, and maybe next time I'll talk to him. I'm just always glad to see that he's still alive. This is an LDN. Am I doing okay time-wise, or do I need to? Okay, we'll just do a couple more pictures and then we'll feed it up to questions. The rest of what I had to show was mostly encourage you all to go. It was some tourist things like going to a coffee plantation agricultural farm. The ruins, of course, are fabulous. McCall Mountain. These were done by a local carver. So I'm sorry about the glitch. This was one problem I was concerned about, putting it on a disk and not being able to control it on my computer. So anyway, and any questions before I get, or do you want me to just stumble through the next couple minutes of slides as we go? Yes, Carl. Yes, very much so. And when we do end up with a lack of an Adopt a Dream, we do find funds elsewhere to cover those students. So those 500 students do get covered one way or another. The rest of everything else, we have been able to raise money through your, for example, your annual contribution, the club's annual contribution, private donors, grants, global and district. And we, on the other side of that coin is we try to keep Peter under wraps to some degree, that we're not expanding too fast, that we make sure that what we have done, we can do well, and that we can not get ahead of ourselves financially. But yes, we're doing fine.
And you have one paid staff down there, right?
In country, we have 2 contract employees, nobody here, nobody in this side of the water. It's only in country, which again is supporting the economy. Any other questions? Teek, did you want to add anything? I will just let it run and see what happens.
Thank you so much, Marty, for a wonderful presentation. Yeah, you too can join the International Committee. We would love to have more members and learn more about what we're doing. And you too can go on one of these trips, which are just really life-changing. I thank you for the people that are Adopt a Dream sponsors for the middle school and some high school students. And like we talked about, we would love to have more sponsors. And the kind of the neat thing now is you can sponsor a child in our club village, Carasolita 2. And when we go on these trips, and it makes it easier to go down and visit your student. Well, you can send notes down for your student with the people that go down on the other trips, and hopefully you'll get a note back from your student. But I've been involved not quite since the beginning, and it's just been a real life-changing experience for me. So I encourage anyone that's interested, sign up and get involved in all this. And thanks for the lovely presentation, Marty. It's good to know I'm not the only person that has trouble with AV with the extra computer when we Zoom this, but it's great for the folks out on Zoom. So thank you, everyone, for all your help with the International Committee and the projects we get to do. And thanks
Thank you.
again, Marty. I'll find you that 6-pack of beer.
Thank you, Teague. And Marty, we have a parting gift for you to remember us by. Thank you very much for coming. It's a great program. Really appreciate you. And I'm hoping to see everybody tomorrow night at 6 o'clock. We start, Becky, and 6 o'clock, and festivities start at 7 with the program. And let's bring this meeting to close to the greatest Rotary Club in the